We think of these human rights in like different sort of categories of rights, and they actually come from different historical trajectories. So the first group of rights is called our civil and political rights. Think about these as the rights that draw the lines between rulers and the ruled, between those that govern and those who are under their governance, right? And these are all of the rights that were established literally by our revolution and the other revolutions. So the English Revolution, American Revolution, and French Revolution, in that order. And the documents that came from those revolutions out of the Enlightenment period, which would include the French droits de l'homme, like the French Bill of Rights, basically, and our Bill of Rights. So if you look at our human rights, they're very, very close for a very good reason to the Bill of Rights that we have, right? So freedom of speech, due process, freedom of self-incrimination, right? All of these kinds of things, right, are also articulated as human rights because they're literally taken directly from our revolution and our revolutionary documents. Like, again, literally. The second group of rights is social and economic rights. Now, these rights are established under a different revolutionary period in the world that was, influenced by thinkers like Marx and Engels, but also labor movements in the United States and in the West. These are the same movements that gave us probably the one thing that working people, where you and I are, well, where many of us are from, enjoy every day, like the 8-hour day, the weekend, overtime pay, the things that we take for granted, but actually are pretty much some of the last rights we have left, all come from the struggles of that period that last about from the late 1800s, which was literally just celebrated this week on May Day, right? 1886, the struggle for the 8-hour day, all the way through the sort of early 20th century, right? And these are the socialist thinkers, the communist thinkers, and these sorts of things. And so our social and economic rights are rights to things: a right to housing, a right to healthcare, a right to a job, and not just any job, but it's actually your human right to have a right to a job that pays you a living wage, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I think Americans would be really surprised to know what their international human rights actually are. And they would have very different kinds of expectations for their rulers had they been aware of those rights, right? But these are their human rights as well, right? But American owning and ruling classes deride those rights because they don't want to provide those things, as this current administration is making abundantly clear, right? We have a third body of rights, but it's only a couple rights.